Hi, and welcome to 3 Things in 3 Minutes. I'm Nersi. Today, we are looking at Paladins of the West Kingdom from Garphill Games. It plays 1 to 4 players with a solo mode and plays in about 90 to 120 minutes. What it's about. Paladins is the second game in Shem Phillips' West Kingdom series, taking the medieval worker placement setting, but this time adding in a hefty dose of engine building so that you build up your kingdom and deal with invaders. Each round, you draw Paladin cards and then pick which one that you're going to use, which gives you special abilities for that round. The players then draft different colored workers and then use them in specific action spaces, usually on their own board, to gain resources, make spaces cheaper, or to score points from claiming townsfolk and outsiders, placing monks and garrisons on a shared board, or absolving their own suspicion. At the end of 7 rounds, whoever scores the most points from these actions wins. What I like. Now, this game effectively uses the combined mechanics of worker placement with the workers themselves being resources, as you'll need combinations of specific colors to take certain actions, much like in games like Orleans. But many of the action spaces also require that you be advanced enough in the influence, strength, or faith tracks, and then they reward you with a bump in a different track. So while there are many ways to get points, the game does try to keep you flexible and diversified. And the Paladin cards also provide some interesting choices, as you'll get to use each one only once per game. And then they'll have a big effect on what you'll want to do during that turn and which workers you're guaranteed to get. And the art is, as always, beautiful. And while the mechanics of the game are different from Architects of the West Kingdom, managing the negative consequences of taking suspicious actions does maintain the criminal theme of the West Kingdom games. Points to consider. Now, most of the actions that you'll take are on your personal board, so unlike a typical worker placement game, you're actually generally only going to interact with other players over a handful of shared action spaces, or in claiming the garrison and monk spaces, or in acquiring cards. But other than that, it's mostly a multiplayer solitaire game. Now, speaking of the common spaces, they're also on an awkwardly long, narrow board that really fits strangely on many tables. So add this in, if you add in the player boards, this is definitely a long table sort of game. And finally, like many of the Garphill games, the game itself has a language-independent iconography that isn't really immediately obvious and intuitive, but it does get better as you learn the game's language. So, in summary, it is an engine-building game that fits the West Kingdom theme well, but adds in some interesting choices in worker types, and particularly the Paladin cards. The gameplay does reward diverse engine building, but recognize that you will be mostly doing it solo, and like other Garphill games, it has great art and some quirky iconography. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks!